here we are starting to reimagine what WordPress automation would look like in the future. In fact, I actually believe that the future of WordPress would not be defined by plugins anymore, but by AI agents. So here, this is what we call Pause Agent Dashboard. So if you were to go here and you go to agent activity, now you can see that every single user on this site gets assigned a specific, their own sort of like agent, an agent that actually like follows up and sees what each user is doing. So if you have 1,000 users on your website, you get 1,000 agents just like that, right? Like every single user has an agent assigned specifically to them. So if I go in here, you can see here, because I have 16 members on this side, he has 16 active agents here. So if I open this up, now for this user, you can see that this user has actually received 14 emails from their agent. And you can see here that there's a timeline summary. Now, this timeline summary is periodically summarized over time. So as the user is performing different activities on your site, so you can see here the timeline, right? So the timeline would show you, as we begin to scroll down here, you would see like as the user begins to like do things on your site. For example, you can see here course progress, user logged in. So when a user logs in, when a user completes a course, when a user earns a Gimme Press achievement, a whole bunch of other activities that they do on your site, all of that is being logged in this user's own unique timeline history. Now that timeline history, the AI agents use it to summarize this user periodically, maybe once a month, once a week or once a day or whatever. It will come and look at what are the most recent activities that this person has done. And then it will build a summary of that user, and it keeps this summary fresh. So that means you could actually come in here if you want to understand what your users are doing, who they are, the way they're interacting with your content and stuff like that. You could just come in here, open a user, look at their timeline history, and it will show you. Say Philip is a highly engaged power user, 130 actions per month, who by this date has completed Blockli AI guide, 100% progress. Now LearnDash, WooCommerce product, everything, right? It knows that user, right? And not only that, it can also queue actions. So for example, depending on the tools that you provide, which I'm going to get to in a minute, the AI agent can actually send emails. Now sometimes it will queue an email if it doesn't feel confident that the action or the email that it's trying to send or whatever it's trying to do, it will queue it for you to review, and you can reject or review or approve. And if you approve, the AI agent will go ahead and take that action and send that email. Or if you reject it, then it will not send that. Now, but if the confidence level is over 70%, it will just go ahead and send that email the way we wired it up. So say for example, you can see here, it wants to send, so somebody joined the group, right? And so it reasons about that specific event. So if you come here, why this action, right? The person joined the group, that's the trigger. Now it looked at the user history. It says user joined Philip's group, has used push notification twice consecutively in recent action. So it actually even knows, like if it sent push notification before, if it sent an email before, if it sent an SMS, it's able to balance the type of messaging channel that it uses. And then it looks at the rule. This is the LLM thinking. So after 2 consecutive push notifications, rotate to email channel, right? And then confidence level is 0.92. So it goes ahead and queues that email. So you can see here, now this person joined this group and he just wrote the email, welcome to Philip's group, right? And then he uses the person's name. And then the email body, congratulations for joining this group, explore discussions, share insights and all that stuff. And then it even has the email pre-header. And then this email will be automatically sent to that person. So for you as a founder, all you just have to just do is sit back, right? And these agents will go in and literally go and reactivate and revitalize people in your community that have been dormant, and then also continue to sort of like reward and engage those who are actually engaged, that you don't have to stitch up automations for every single thing. So I'll just kind of give you a contrast of what this is. So if you go here now, this is Groundhog, right? Groundhog also tracks your typical sort of history, right? So user logged in, user did that, but this it can't do anything with this. You would have to actually, in order for you to do anything with this information here for this user, you would actually have to go create a funnel, maybe in Groundhog funnels or Kenny Automator or something, to pick this event and then set up an automation that would say, oh, because now you would have to have an automation for like logged in, user visits a forum, user purchases a product, user does all this stuff. Like, you would have to have funnels for every single one of these things and manually wire them up, maintain them, and all of that. But in this type of orchestration, you don't need to set up any funnel. The AI agents will look at that. And the good thing about it is that the agents, when they want to take action on a specific trigger, let's say somebody completed a course. Now, when they're going to send an email, they're not sending an email just about that course. So like, they're going to send email being aware of this person, who they are, their entire history, the last email that they received. So it's kind of like natural, like how you would naturally relate with a human being, right? Like if I'm talking to a customer or a member of my community about a specific thing, I know who they are. I have a context of who they are and what they do, and so we can kind of talk. Even if I'm gonna send you a message, I want to say, hey, thank you for being a part of our community. Thank you for last week. I can see that you did this, you did that, you did that. I just want to encourage you, as you completed this course, right? Typical automation systems can do that. Typical automation systems will just send an email about that course, but they don't have any clue who that particular person is and the history behind and the context behind that user on your platform. So that's the difference, because right here, those agents have access to that type of information, right? And then you can pause, agents for each member, or even person for all of them, or completely disable this. But like, you can like have this flow and the agents, and you can see what these agents are doing right in here. And so whenever they take action, you will see the actions that they take. Now, how do you configure this? Now you have to go to here and then go to settings under event bridge. Now under event bridge, you're going to see here that so while this is loading up, right? These are currently the events that are supported, right? Like BuddyPress events and BuddyBoss events. So group join, group left, group invite accepted, membership accepted, updated photo. All of these are things you typically call triggers in something like Uncanny Automator, or any typical automation platform, right? You call them triggers. But here, these are milestones. Now you can enable milestones. You can say group join is a milestone. What is a milestone? Milestone events are pivotal moments that trigger immediate AI-driven action. So meaning, in this case, if I turn group join, when someone joins a group, the AI will actually take action right away on that particular user, the same way you would do your typical trigger and action recipe with any automation platform. But this time, the AI agent is not just thinking about just that group join. Oh yeah, group join is what wakes up the agent. The agent wakes up, oh, somebody joined the group. But it's not just going to say, oh, thank you for joining the group. It's going to look at, who is this person? What have they been doing? It will look at that whole history that we looked at previously, and then their summary and all of that. And so when it's every single communication, every single email, SMS, or push notification that is being sent, context of who that user is factored into that. So that's what makes this very unique. And then for events that you didn't turn on, they are still logged into the user history and used to enrich that user context. But the LLM is not going to take action immediately. It's not going to wake up. Say, for example, group left is not turned on, but group left will still be logged in the user history, will still be used in the user history summarization to add context about who this person is. But the AI agent is not going to do anything if somebody leaves a group unless I turn it on, right? That's how we're thinking about this, because this is the future, I see about WordPress automation. And then this is where you enable the tools that your agents can use. So I can turn on, email, SMS, and push notification, depending on the kind of system or WordPress site that you run. Push notification is for people who use the BuddyBoss app. So, you can send, the agents can send push notifications. If somebody, say, for example, completed a course, they can get a push notification from the agent that says, hey, thanks for completing this course. And by the way, I saw that, you did this last week, that you completed another course last week. Kudos, right? These are things that typical automation system cannot do. So this is orchestration. This is not automation. This is orchestration. And then, you can use SMS. Right now, we only support Twilio. We can add support for more. But of course, typically, emails is basic. And you don't even have to configure anything. Whatever email service that you already have running on your WordPress website, that's what, this system is going to use to send that. And then you can now do what we call weekly or daily sweeps. So here you can schedule what we call your scheduled events. So what is this? This is like, if you set this to weekly, which we recommend that you set this to weekly, once a week, the AI agent will crawl every single user. So now we're talking about if you have 1,000 users, each user has an agent. So once a week, each user's agent will go in and look at what the user has done for that week. And then at the end of the week, send them a summary report or send them, a congratulation email. If the person dropped off and they haven't been engaged that whole week, the AI agent will come in and look, oh, this week, this user didn't log in at all. The agents will send an email and say, hey, how is it going? We're just checking in and making sure that, you're doing good. You didn't log in this week, but those type of stuff that you would have to manually do by yourself. These agents will just do that. And then you can always go to the dashboard and see a history of everything that the agents are doing. And then you can pause them, you can stop them, and then you get to review things that it puts in review for you, because we've coded in such a way that, if the confidence level is less than 70% confidence level, then it shouldn't take an action. Rather, it should call the attention of the site owner. So to just flag that for you, you can then go in and review that action and approve it for it to take that action for you. And so that's what what we call them pause agents, they do. So you can come here and configure them.